Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy M55, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick look at the device itself. So, let's just get straight into it. Cut our way in. Man, that's a poor experience of unboxing. Anyway, so right here, a little thing that fell out, we just have paperwork, then the phone itself, charging cable, and these scumbags decided to make it look like there is something more in here than there actually is. So typically a box this size would actually house a freaking charger, but no. Samsung is special. They just decided to waste a lot of paper because that's how much they care about the environment with their bullshit statements. So yeah, they made it so much thicker for no reason, and they can make it smaller if they wanted to, as they have done this with numerous other devices. But anyway, it just kind of shows that they actually don't give a shit about anything that they claim they do. Let's see the device. I don't have high hopes for it. So in a second, once the display actually turns on, I'm actually going to start talking about it. So this is a 6.7-inch display, 1080p, so 1080 by 2400, Super AMOLED Plus display. I'm not sure what the plus is for, because it's 120 Hertz maybe, as that is its refresh rate. It also has a brightness of 1000 nits, boasts an 86.4% screen-to-body ratio with 393 pixels per inch. So the bezels here are, I would say, okay. The top and bottom ones are thicker than the side ones. It's nothing really super special, considering this device was released in March 28 of 2024. It's being outperformed by cheaper devices in terms of like the screen appearance, though some of the cheaper devices don't actually come with Super AMOLED Plus display, whatever that is. Anyway, now before I go any further, I do want to point out the price, and it's apparently labeled as 27,000 rupees. So let's do a quick conversion just so we can actually know what that is. That is about... where is it? Oh, for God's sakes. There we go. So that is about 320 US dollars. Not the cheapest device. So this is basically a mid-range phone. So I'm gonna kind of approach this look at the device as a mid-range device, as the price tag would suggest that this is a mid-range device. So let's see if it stands out as a mid-range device. In any case, so the display out of the way, so let's talk about the cameras. We have what looks to be a triple camera setup, though I doubt it. We have a 50 megapixel f1.8 wide sensor, 8 megapixel f2.222 degree ultra wide, and there we go, 2 megapixel f whatever, doesn't matter. F is the only thing that needs to be said. Macro lens at 2 megapixels, it's dog shit. So F is the only thing that you should be naming this last lens as. Now, this camera, so you can record videos at 4K 30 frames, 1080p 30 and 60, luckily. And then at the front, we have a whopping 50 megapixel f2.4 wide sensor that can also do 4K 30 frames and 1080p 30 and 60. So that's actually pretty good for this device. I would have expected that it would have actually kind of handicapped it and limited to like 30 frames altogether. So that's a bit of a surprise. Now, moving on into the internals, the device comes with a 5000 mAh battery, and surprisingly enough, it can actually charge at 45 watts. Would have thought that a device at $300 can charge twice as fast as a Galaxy Fold 4. Wow, Samsung can actually charge their devices at, well, still significantly slower speeds than almost every other Chinese device, as they do charge now at about 120 watts. So yeah, they're a bit behind, but hey, they got the spirit. At least that counts. And truth be told, 45 watts is already at a respectable speed, so it's not that bad. I obviously will take 45 watts over 20 at any day of any time of the day, so this is already an improvement over the previous Samsung devices. Now, continuing on, the device comes with 128 gigs of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM at the entry price, and can spec up to 256 256 12 gigs of RAM, and also has a micro SD card expansion slot that doubles also as a SIM card tray, so you can have 2 different SIM cards or 1 SIM card and 1 SD card. Again, adding a little bit to the versatility, which is still surprising for the price, considering this is a mid-range device. And lastly, the processor powering this device is a Snapdragon 7 Gen 1. That's kind of where it starts to fall apart. As a mid-range device with a Snapdragon 7 Gen 1, I'm pretty sure we have like what, Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 now? Let's see. Is there a Gen 3? Bear with me while I'm just gonna try to quickly check this out, assuming I can find info about it relatively easily, but it's kind of not easy to find. When was it released? If so, oh, there we go, November 17th, 2023. So there is already a Snapdragon 7 Gen 3, so 2 generations higher than what you have right here in a device that was released in 2024. And Snapdragon Gen 3 came in November 17th. This was released March, right? Yep, March 28th of 2024. So they had ample amount of time to put in the newest Snapdragon, but they didn't decide to give you a last generation processor like Snapdragon Gen 7 Gen 2. No. They decided to even cheap out more and put a Snapdragon Gen 1. Now, truth be told, this isn't such a big problem. It's not such a massive upgrade, but when paying for a mid-range device and getting shit on by Samsung and getting a processor that is 3 years old at this point, it just kind of soils the price. At this price tag, you can basically buy something like the Poco F5 Pro, I think, at this price, and have a better processor than this device by a wide margin, if I'm correct. Let me quickly make sure that I'm not just spewing nonsense. So, Poco F5 Pro. So that device, okay, no, wait, not F. It looks like it's going to be Poco X6 Pro. Yeah, there we go. So Poco X6 Pro, my bad in the naming category. The F5 Pro is running a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, but it costs more, at least at the release time. It could be honestly at the same price as this device right now, but at release price it was more expensive, about $430 US. But the X6 Pro is a newer device released in January 11th of 2024 and comes with a Dimensity 8300 Ultra, which basically compares to something like Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 or overclocked Gen 2. So it is faster. And other than that, the price tag, $320. So it competes with this device in terms of price tag, while offering you a faster device, all in all. And other than that, in terms of displays and all that stuff, it's very comparable. So 5000 mAh battery, 67 watt charging, AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR10 plus certification. This doesn't have any certification of HDR. Dolby Vision, peak brightness of 1800 nits, so it actually can get brighter. Has higher screen to body ratio, higher pixel density, better cameras, but it does also include that dog shit 2 megapixel macro lens. It does have a lower selfie camera at 16 megapixels compared to this one. What was it? This one had a 50. So that is actually a standout feature, I guess, of this device. So yeah, it honestly, for just the selfie camera difference, which is better on this device, I would not overpay for this, considering I get lesser device compared to something like the X6 Pro. Now, I do want to point out, I tend to recommend over Samsung Poco devices, or Xiaomi in this case, more precisely. And I'm not a fanboy of their devices, to be honest. I only like their Poco lineup, as their pricing of the device is just fantastic. Now, obviously, it's not a flawless device. It does suffer from a poorer, build quality. So it has a plastic back and silicone polymer back, which is, or it has two options basically. So it's a eco leather, as they're calling it, or plastic, with most likely plastic frame if I remember correctly, and Gorilla Glass 5 front display. So in this aspect it is, let's see, probably going to be lesser of a quality compared to this, though this looks like plastic. Okay, never mind, this is also dog shit quality. This is actually worse than I expected. Plastic back, plastic frame, and not mentioned display right here, so who knows what that is, apart from glass obviously. So yeah, all in all, I would probably recommend, if you don't mind going for a Chinese branded device, with the Poco X6 Pro, as it's going to be a better device basically all around in terms of what you pay and what you get. For basically the same price, you get a higher spec device all around. But anyway, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.